Hello, everyone. We just had this thought to share a couple of reflections on Mars Uranus conjunction. So Mars just went through all this strong Aquarian square energy, and now it's going to conjunct Uranus. Mars is action, initiation. It's the leading edge of our evolutionary growth. And Uranus is always pointing us beyond the threshold of the known. Uranus is our true nature. It's what's true and essential about reality prior to our labeling of it, prior to our story of it, certainly prior to our understanding of it. So there's a process of becoming and unfolding that is deeply resonant and relevant to our collective evolution. The thing with Mars is that there can be this impulsive quality here linked to the need for security and continuity to react to conditions that feel uncomfortable. So on the most gross level of consciousness, it's, I don't like this, get me out of here, or let me go here and do this. It can be very shallow and very self-focused, very limited in its thinking. So there is an invitation here to elevate our consciousness, cultivate more ground, more perspective, more space, so that there's a less seeming immediacy to our experiences and to what we think we need to do or how we think we might need to defend, and to cultivate more objectivity. So we're feeling into what is actually unfolding right here, even though it's uncomfortable, maybe. What's actually beginning to unfold, what's emerging here, so that we can, Mars, choose actions that align with the cosmos, that aligns with what is, even if it's not fitting into our boxes of what we thought should be. And the insecurity, of course, is Taurus wants continuity and stability. It doesn't want a lot of things to change, but it's not what this time is about. And ultimately, it is a deepening of self-value. It's a deepening of self-respect and potential that we get to live a life that's much more firmly grounded and rooted in a consciousness of inclusion, of sharing, and also of joy, of actualization, of being creative, of feeling, yes, I'm loving what I'm doing. I'm really engaged. I'm really connected. And so that's just so important, that we're not more identified with familiarity, but we're really open to and interested in aliveness. And just to get into that place often means finding a new way to respond to discomfort, so that we can just see what's actually happening and how good it is. Do you want to share anything, Michelle?
Yeah. I feel like the Mars impulse is that urgency, and when we're caught up in uncomfortable emotional states or even mind states where thoughts are swirling, there's like a sense of, if I get this out, if I'm heard, if I do this, if I take this action, then I'll have relief, I'll have resolution. And the issue with this particular square to Saturn is like, it's asking us to ground into a much higher level of thinking, maybe one that we haven't even approached. And with all cycles, it's the same instance that came up in childhood that comes up again and again, and it's just varying different people playing different roles. But that feeling that like, I'm going to get something, some relief from this action, when actually met with cautiousness and a questioning, like, is this really going to bring me, especially if it requires another person then to meet us in a way where we're actually looking for the attack to be defended. If we already know that their stance is going to be to attack us, then the battle's already been lost. And I found in particular, the swirling thoughts that can happen, especially the more stirred up we are, it's like opening the lid of a washing machine that's in a spin cycle, mid-cycle. The machine's going to keep going. The thoughts are going to keep circulating. And if we try and make decisions in that spin cycle, when we're stuck in a repeating thought, the outcome is not going to bring us peace. The peace comes when we actually let the whole mind state settle, deepening into a place of, wow, I may not get forgiveness. I may not even get to forgiveness while I'm in a process of feeling like I'm being attacked. I may not get the resolution or the relief that I want in this relationship while I'm fixated on a particular outcome, on a goal. And I've been meditating on this line in the course that talks about, how would you be? What would you be if you knew that everything, every single experience was orchestrated by one whose only intention for you is good? It's like that can be seemingly difficult to wrap our minds around in that particular spin cycle. And sometimes with desires, the only way out is through. The only way to the realization is actually to play out and be met with the consequence or the self-reflection that comes afterwards. Like after doing that thing, it's like, wow, maybe I shouldn't have done that, or maybe not, but to be patient with ourselves as we're in a process of discovering what that ultimate good is that we aren't connected to in the moment.
One of my students recently shared with me this great story about this person who had a really great farm, and his son was working on the farm. And one day his son fell off the camel and broke his ankle. And his neighbor said, "Oh, what poor fortune." And this man said, "Oh, good fortune, bad fortune, who knows?" And then his country goes to war, and the government's enlisting soldiers for the war, but his son wasn't enlisted because he broke his ankle and they only wanted the most fit. And his neighbor says, "What good fortune?" And he says, "Good fortune, bad fortune, who knows?" And then there is a big plague, and it comes and eats all the crops, and they lose all their crops, and they don't have what they need anymore. And the neighbor says, "Oh, what bad fortune?" And the man says, "Good fortune, bad fortune, who knows?" And as they're replanting the field and digging up the soil, they accidentally hit some gold. And the neighbor says, "What good fortune?" And once again, this guy says, "Yeah, good fortune, bad fortune, who knows?" The lack of intelligence of the cosmic order of things, Uranus, results in short-sightedness and a lack of perspective. So we can see things almost from a paranoid perspective, where we'll think of, "Oh, things are really not working out for me," or these bad things are happening. An issue with Mars Uranus can be the perception of attack, as Michelle was speaking about. There actually can be a heightened sense of being attacked in whatever way. And so we can interpret things through the filter of however we might be in trauma, to look at the world in any kind of way of adversity. So to keep this higher intelligence and this openness, that the cosmic order of things has its own flow, its own intelligence, and it's only challenging relative to where we're holding on to this idea, this construct of familiarity and security. Taurus, continuity. Taurus doesn't like change. It doesn't want to change unless it knows why to change. And it's like, okay, then the change can be really thorough, it can be a very solid and deep change. So this is really about just being willing to shake up our resistance right now over the next couple of days. Do you know when this exact conjunction is?
January 20th, 3:37 Eastern time.
Yeah. So it's building. What day is today? So over the next few days, this transit's perfecting. So it's a really great theme to look into.